I will take a glass of whiskey with my crow. That is right. Welcome into Off the Hook Sports, everybody, for a special edition. I am Caleb Calhoun. Still off. We are on vacation this week, but we really had to come bring you guys the breaking news of Tennessee football landing not just one, but two commitments for their 2026 recruiting class to elite four-star defensive teammates out of the state of Mississippi. They were part of three teammates out of Jackson Academy in Jackson, Mississippi, who went live to announce their commitments on Tuesday. TJ White, linebacker, a four-star across the board, and Dereon Albert, defensive lineman, also a four-star across the board, announced their commitments to the Vols on Saturday. At the same time, Amari Johnson announced his commitment to the North Carolina Tar Heels. So all three of them went live. All three of them announced their commitments, and Tennessee picked up two of them. After yesterday, I knew that a lot of you guys were going to question if I would come live today, because I went live yesterday and I said Tennessee's 4 pickups over the weekend. I went live on Monday and I said Tennessee's 4 pickups over the weekend, while seemingly big news at the same time was not as big of a deal as it looked, and it actually came across as a bit of desperation, largely because, and this is a big deal now, largely because it was 2 3-stars across the board, one ranked outside of the top 1,100 nationally, and then 2 fringe 4-stars, meaning they were 3 stars on 2 services, 4 stars on 2 other services, but both of them were 3 stars on the main composite rankings. So nobody that you would really classify as 4-star caliber. And there were major questions about, was Josh Heupel desperate? Was he just adding bodies to boost his recruiting class because it jumped him up from outside of the top 50 into the top 25? But I questioned whether or not that was worth it. Well, Tuesday comes around. I'm proven wrong. Josh Heupel makes a huge splash, getting TJ White and Dereon Albert from Jackson Academy in Jackson, Mississippi. These are both some great pickups. Let's start with Dereon Albert. He is already 6'2", 305 pounds. Again, a 4-star across the board. Given how Rodney Garner uses his rotations and how deep he runs, you could expect Albert to immediately be an impact player for Tennessee. He's one of those guys, he lines up on the edge with a 3-down lineman set, and he lines up in the middle when there's 4-down linemen. When you take that into account, you have to wonder, will he be able to be like a Tyree West, Dominic Bailey, or even a higher level of that? I think Tyree West will have a breakout year this year, so we'll see with that. But I think in general, Dereon Albert adds a lot of much needed depth to this program. He is going to be a very elite player. By the way, in case you're wondering, it's thundering as I'm live, guys, out here. Yes, I know I'm taking a huge risk. We got a storm coming. I'm trying to get this in before the storm hits. But yes, I think Dereon Albert is one of the more athletic defensive linemen. If he can stay healthy, and if he has a mean streak about him, he could be a physical freak at the college level. I mean, a physical freak. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But I really do think that Dereon Albert could end up being a major superstar for Tennessee if, again, and this is a big deal, if he stays healthy. That's the thing we've got to contend with. And so far he's been healthy, but I think of somebody like Elijah Simmons, who was a much bigger, like 330 pounds, much more of a physical freak. I think of somebody like that, and I sit there and say, well, if he didn't have the injury problems, he could have been a generational defensive tackle. So Albert, you got to wonder if he can stay healthy, and he's only 305 now. But with the conditioning program, some have him listed at 315. He could potentially get to 335 by the time he's starting at Tennessee. Plenty of time. Big deal for him, and he is a huge boost for Tennessee football and their future going forward. A look at his highlight reel. You guys are right. He is extremely athletic. Extremely athletic. Being able to line up on the end the way he does in high school is a huge deal. Now, TJ White. TJ White could vacillate between an edge rusher or a linebacker. Depends on how they want to use him. He's already 6'2", 230. Most of his highlight reels show that he seems like more of an edge rusher. I mean, he lines up a lot of, he's a great run stopper. He can win battles up front with offensive linemen. He's got the swim moves. He can do a lot of things, line up in the middle or on the edge, and most of his highlight reel is him stopping the run. That would lend you to think that he's going to be more of an edge rusher. However, there's a caveat to that. The big caveat is Tennessee's loaded at edge rusher. And they're going to stay loaded at edge rusher because they're not getting just 4 stars at the edge rusher position. They're getting 5 stars and fringe 5 stars. The Jordan Rosses of the world, the David Hobbses of the world, those guys. They're getting elite talent, and you understand why after Byron Young and James Pearson, what they've done, what Tyler Barron could have done if he didn't chase money. That's the type of players that they're producing on the edge. So there's a question about the level of competition that TJ White would face playing on the edge, even if his highlight reel shows he is more meant to be an edge rusher. The other reason he can move over to linebacker is while most of his highlights are him stopping the run or pressuring the quarterback, he's got amazing lateral quickness. He's got incredible lateral quickness. As a matter of fact, a lot of his run stops are on draw plays from the shotgun where he can play sideline to sideline. You can transition that to being a coverage linebacker, particularly with a great linebacker coach like William Inge. And Tennessee was going to be great at linebacker and this year, and we don't know what they're going to be going forward, but they're going to be great at linebacker this year. And afterward, though, we don't know how they're going to be in 2026 and 2027. Arian Carter and Jeremiah Taylor, I do think will at least be here in 2026. I also think that they will. So I think that Tennessee will be fine then, but 2027, you never know. And with that in mind, yes, TJ White is a big pickup, and TJ White adds a lot of promise to this team and to this program. And I think that TJ White is another guy who can, you worry if he's a tweener in the sense that he's not good enough to play edge, given how deep Tennessee is there, but can't physically get to where they need to go at linebacker. So we're going to have to see how that works. But at the same time, TJ White is still a big pickup and will do a lot for the Vols. And so I would pay attention to that and see what happens on that front. More breaking news as we're live, and we're going to add this in. Tennessee has just added 3-star defensive back Jamyan Theodore out of Baylor School in Chattanooga. That's right. Jamyan Theodore has committed to Tennessee out of Baylor School in Chattanooga. Guys, that's another big pickup. Jamyan Theodore, I know he's only a 3-star, and I trolled 3 stars over the weekend, but in-state 3 stars, particularly from Chattanooga or Knoxville, always live up to their billing. In-state prospects out of Chattanooga and Knoxville always live up to their billing. You should always add half a star, maybe a full star to what they're able to do. So Jamyan Theodore, a huge pickup. He is a cornerback. He will add more depth to Tenn Banks secondary. He is an underrated cornerback. You can expect him to be a very elite player. Tennessee beat out Wisconsin for him. They beat out UNC for the other 2, along with Mississippi State, Auburn, and Florida State for, I believe, TJ White. But Jamyan Theodore specifically, while he's just a 3-star, originally from Canada, comes out of Baylor School in Chattanooga, has committed to Tennessee, he is going to be a steal for the Vols and Josh Heupel and Tenn Banks. You can book that. A huge steal, guys. Now, and I know Vols win says 3-star U. That's a nice little troll, but let's point this out. It depends on where you get the 3 stars from. I questioned who they added over the weekend. Coming out of Baylor School in Chattanooga, those kids always live up to their hype. I want to point out the Mississippi kids. Tennessee does very well with Mississippi kids typically. Paris Harrelson, anybody? Rest in peace, one of the most elite players during the 2000s era for Tennessee on defense. So all 3 players come from areas where Tennessee has great success in and where players live up to their billing. And on top of that, Jamyan Theodore, and on top of that, 2 of them are highly touted across the board. So a big day for Tennessee football. They are now in the top 15 for their 2026 recruiting class composite recruiting rankings. And there could be more to come. Josh Heupel's got bigger fish to fry. He's targeting a few 5 stars, still trying to flip 1. So a lot more could come. Again, thanks for jumping in on this special breaking news story. We will be back again next Monday live at 10 a.m. Eastern for our regular Off the Hook show. We're off this week on vacation. Unless, again, more breaking news happens, at which point I will be right here to bring it to you. But hit that like and subscribe button, ring the bell, turn your notifications on, tell a friend. We are having a lot of fun at Off the Hook Sports here, and we are building something great, and it looks like Tennessee's building something great for its 2026 recruiting class. So thank you all. You guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the 4th. If I don't see you again with Caleb Calhoun, this has been a special live presentation of Off the Hook Sports.